Welcome to the Pays to Be Clean podcast. I'm Amanda May and
Chaun Williams.
We are here with Dr. Britt and Josh Lashua.
Nailed it.
Yes. I did it.
Hey.
Nailed it.
French.
We are here to bring you insights on what it means to live clean and love lifestyle and looks. We are super excited for this couple that we have here today, and the sirens are going off for you in the background. So if anybody can hear that, that's because they are that awesome. So we got to meet them a few weeks ago after coming to Dallas and taking the Same Team Forever Intimacy University weekend, which was so transformational. We're super stoked to get into how we can learn more about you, your relationship, how you make lives better, and share some of how we've been impacted by the work that you're doing, and teach people what they need to know so that they can have healthy, fulfilling, integrous relationships. So thank you for being here.
Yeah, we're so glad to be
We support
with you.
that and love what you guys are doing. And even more so, thanks for having us.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So this is the first time we've actually had two guests at one time. So this is your first for us.
What's up?
We promise we won't ruin it for anyone else.
You're gonna do awesome.
We trust
You're gonna set the tone for everyone else. So thank you again for being here. And to jump right in, we've been like, since last night, we've been like, oh, and this and this and this. And we just have so much that we feel like we can cover with this topic, and the value that people really want out of their relationships. And you have so much to offer. I listened to your podcast today, your girlfriend podcast, which I love, your best friend.
Yes.
So we'll talk about that. Want to talk about things that have been super impactful in your relationship and just all the great things. So yeah.
Amazing.
So there we go. That was the intro.
Love it.
Done. All right. So let's talk about Intimacy University. And you have a new conference coming up that I definitely want to talk about. And we were listening to your kind of like trailer on that this morning. NYU.
Yeah.
Which is coming up when?
October 14th through the 16th.
And do you want to start there? Is that a good place
Yeah,
to?
I think that's a great place to start.
Okay, awesome. I feel like my back is to you. Does it feel like my back is to you?
I'm so offended.
We can talk about
Can you
that.
talk? What do you have to say to that?
What's
No,
the meaning
no,
you're
you're good,
making of
you're
her
good.
back being to you?
That's so good.
No,
That's
you're good.
All right, so let's talk about NYU, because that was thanks. Thank you. Always
Indian Herman.
see, it's a good thing you have my back. That conference seems so powerful because, as we were discussing this morning, without two people that are really healthy, you can't have a us that's really healthy. Mm-hmm. So we want to know from you, what was the motivation behind starting that conference?
So I'll explain first what Same Team is.
Okay.
And then we'll talk about, we've got 4 events. NYU
Okay.
is one of them. Intimacy University, or IU, is the one you guys attended, which was a great time. But starting with Same Team, or Same Team Forever. So Same Team Forever is a quote-unquote brand. But Same Team for us, being together 10 years, actually goes back 9.5 years to where it found its spot in our relationship. So Same Team for us, we heard a message from another speaker at a church we attended, and the thought of Same Team just anchored with us. And so we decided, in the midst of our own conflict, because we can have conflict or fighting or arguing, whatever you want to call it, over the smallest little things. Our first fight, being married, living together, was over toothpaste. No joke.
True.
No joke. I'm civilized, so I milk mine from top to bottom. It looks normal. My sweet wife likes to grab it in the middle and just... And so I went, what's wrong with you? It was literally our first fight.
I might be Team Britt on this one.
How goofy is that?
Let's not, worry about how we milk our toothpaste all the way from bottom to top.
Yep.
Come on.
But we quickly realized that we were two individuals being woven together in this relationship, that we, being married. And so we started using Same Team in the midst of conflict, because you can feel conflict come on, like in your not just your psychology, but your physiology. You go, okay, like, we're going there. I can either choose to go get my gloves out of the closet and here we go, or we chose to make Same Team our way of going, listen, this is about us. We're for us. This is probably not a hill we want to die on. So we started saying, same team, bro. So that's our thing, is same team, bro.
And so many couples sometimes treat their partner like their partner is the enemy. And with same team, really the concept is we're fighting for each other. We're fighting for this marriage, for this relationship, not against each other. You're not my enemy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Same team.
So that's where same team came from.
I love
and then
it.
we chose same team forever because we want this to be the one relationship that we really try to get right, which takes constant effort and a constant pursuit, to be honest with you. So from that, we came up with a couple events, and it was one of those. This is only about 3 to 4 years old. 3 years ago, or 4 years ago, somewhere in the neighborhood, we started writing what these events actually are and what they mean. So Britt, by trade, is a PhD. She's a smarty pants. She's been practicing as a professional counselor,
Amazing.
specialist being sex therapy, but she sees a gamut of things, and is a truly brilliant individual, but she is a learner by her personality. So that was something that really I was introduced to, of being a reader and being a learner and deciding who you're following. I didn't really enjoy school when I was in school, but this is something that really latched on with me. And so from the very beginning of our relationship, we spent a lot of time researching up-to-date neurological things and behavioral traits, and spending a lot of time on that end of the recent science, just trying to get an understanding of who we are and who I am and what this is about, etc.
Just really digging in.
Really digging in.
Well, when we were first together, we would go on road trips a lot. And during that time period, I would read to him while we were on our road trips. Like, that was one of the ways that we connected. And in the course of our relationship, something that we do on a pretty regular basis is we go on retreats. We try to do it quarterly. And we will get away, just the two of us, and we check in on, does our relationship look the way that we want to? Are we hitting our goals? Are we getting to where we want to go? How are we doing? Yep. And on one of those retreats, we were working on some stuff, and Josh was like, all right, Brittany, now's the time.
We were writing, because we were both working on individual manuscripts, and we decided to get away for one of our little getaways. And so Brittany's working kind of where you're sitting, Chaun. I'm working here, and I looked up and I just thought, okay, we're doing this, and this is where we're going to host our first event. And Britt's like, sorry, what? What?
Just like that.
Do you think people will come?
That's
was
what
her
I said. Do you
response.
think they'll come?
And I literally thought of what we collected. If we can take what we've experienced and what we've sought after and what we've created with ourselves, not that we have it all together, we've got a relatively decent handle on things relationally, or at least in romantic relationship for sure, that let's attempt to get it on paper. And then from that, we ended up with 4 events.
So
Amazing.
So let's talk about Josh, even me, you, us. We created a framework of what that looks like.
And that's NYU.
Yep. So that's the event that's coming up. So the very first part of the framework is we are building into our emotional security, our personal emotional security. That's me. And we start working our way around this framework, and it's me, and then what are we putting into you, and then really this part where we begin to harvest and kind of have the relationship that we want. And babe, do you want to talk more about that?
No, easily, yeah, for sure. And so what Britt is leading into is really our mission. And so I wanted to at least read our mission, which kind of explains what NYU is. NYU being our flagship event of the 4. That feeds really the other 4. And if anyone ever had a desire to come find out more about Same Team, I would recommend NYU first. It's for any age, any relational status, just relational principles. And so our mission is to marry the most up-to-date psychological and behavioral research along with modalities, because we also utilize NLP and things like that, with the kingdom biblical worldview. And that's honestly what separates us from a lot of other things, is that it's up-to-date research. So it's not what we think will work. It's what science says will work behaviorally, along with the biblical worldview that we want to stand on. And so collectively we did that. And we also said, I've been to relational events that like made me want to bang my head against the wall because they're so unbelievably boring.
Yeah.
And so we made ours high energy and a lot more fun and more interactive. We want people to enjoy coming to these things and want it to be a dread. So collectively, that's where NYU came from. So NYU specifically is me, you, us. So we spend 3 days really diving into the psychology and the behavioral portion of like who I am. That's the me portion. We want you to get to know you, and then help you get understanding of who your partner is. That's the you portion. And if we can get a good handle on who we are, we won't feel like we're stuck or like there's something wrong with us, or our partner will know that, hey, these are strengths that we have. Well, how do we meld those together? And that's the you portion of it. So really, we want to go in and we want to just figure out about us and figure out about you. And okay, these aren't problems we have, these are strengths. When they actually can be used to support each other, and it makes a really powerful you at the end of the day.
Well, and a lot of times people end up at our events and they feel kind of powerless. Like if my partner just did this thing, if they were just this way, then we would have this kind of relationship. And when we focus on the me, and then it's like what the me is putting into the you, not fix your partner and then y'all can have this great us. They're responsible for themselves. Yeah. And so when we do that, it really it helps people get their power back. It helps them recognize, all right, these are the decisions that I need to make. This is what I need to do. I think collectively, last time we did MIU, we spent 7 hours on communication, which is like kind of nuts to think about, but that's really where people struggle the most, is in communication. So we really help them to learn themselves and then to learn their partner, and how do we do all this stuff together?
Yeah, so 7 interactive hours. And you guys experience the breakout portion, the deep dives, etc. Because we want to give you tools, but we don't want to tell you what to do. Everyone has a different life and different personalities, so we want to give you foundation that works, and then through your own thoughts go, okay, like, yes, I can work with this, I can contour it to who we are, and boom, let's go.
Like when you gave us the pamphlet of questions and we went out on the walk and then we figured it out from there. Yeah. Like that type of. Yeah.
Here's the template, but you figure out the most important part, and that's the items that you guys went through.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we were talking about that last night in the, one of the highest things that you hear in relationships is like our communication. So we had a discussion last night about all the things surrounding communication and how meaty that actually is, because it's, what did you hear? What did I actually say? What did you take from what I hear? You heard, what do those words actually mean to you? What do those words mean to me? And how are we maybe viewing through our own lens versus actually through the other person's viewpoint? So we had a really fun conversation around that.
Yeah, yesterday. We have our own filters that this information comes through, and how we, express that back to the, our partner is going to determine, how things work out.
Certainly. We all have, regardless of what Webster says, we all have our own definitions for every word that we know, right? So if I said, hey, what's your definition of love? It may be similar, but it's not going to be the exact same as mine, or Amanda's, or Brittany's. And so our entire vocabulary works that way. So to get an understanding, one, of what words mean to you is huge. And then as far as the communication piece goes, so most people have a generalized, projected thought of what communication is, and really it's not complicated, but most people don't understand what communication is and what it looks like. So understanding that communication is 55% body language and 35% tone and 5% words. We go, oh, well, I should probably be a little more aware of how I'm communicating. It's not just my words, right?
Yeah.
So little things like that can really equip folks.
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. That's really good. What do you feel the biggest misconception in love is today?
Were you excited to answer that and then you turned away so you wouldn't say anything?
Could you tell?
Babe, just go. I'll jump in.
That romantic love has to end. Or that relationship like this can't be fun. Or it's only fun for its shelf life. Being together 10 years, I'm crazy about this girl. But I'm more nuts about her day after day and year after year than when I met her. And I was nuts about her when we met, like crazy about her. But like our relationship, based upon these things that we stand on, is the satisfaction in what we get, the ROI in choosing to serve each other and to show up and to be patient, to be kind and really be understanding and to listen, understand, not listening to respond. All these things, our relationship is so much fun, and we're married. And in 2022, to be married and like each other almost seems like a rare, unheard thing. And it's not. Like, I'm not that smart. We haven't got that figured out. We've got a few things that have given us the ability to experience this, and it is like tough to put words on, and I feel like impossible to put a value on. But it exists.
I think too, people think in long-term relationship, that's where your passion goes to die. That's where your sex life goes to die. That's where all of that stuff goes to die. And they're wrong. Like he said, it gets better and better and better. Something that's really exciting to me actually is our next NYU. My parents are going to come in and guest
the
speak.
OG.
And they are gross. Grossly
in the best way.
Grossly fall in love with each other. And they've been married now almost 40 years.
Wow.
Goals.
And for real. And they would tell you that they love each other more, that their sex life is better than it's ever been. And people, they're not spring chickens anymore. And the people see that and go, well, that they're a fluke. But the reality is they've continued to make choices and decisions for each other, to each other, over and over and over, and that we have so much power in that. When we just look at love like it's a feeling, well, we have a lot of those in the beginning because our brain is washed with a bunch of chemicals. But what's neat is that to me, that's easy. But over time, when we actually choose to do the things that create the wash of chemicals, that's so much more meaningful because I'm actually working to create that in you. That's powerful.
Yeah.
So this is like level of intelligent love. Like you're putting your mind to it versus just letting these feelings guide you into what you feel like you should do. Like in the beginning, it's just, you got hearts in your eyes, all these feelings, and then, later it kind of wears off. That's the general idea of what love is in relationships. But by intelligently doing these things that y'all are talking about is when you're able to maintain that feeling, essentially.
Sure.
You're able to bring it back when you want and, just grow from there.
Yeah. I'm not going to completely disagree with it, but I will say society, I think, teaches us or conditions us to think that love is a feeling. And love can certainly be an incredibly wonderful, overtaking feeling. While I truly believe that love's a choice. It really is. It's like me choosing to love Brittany is a choice that I made the day I met her, but when we got married, I'm going to choose to love you. But all of my effort and what you were explaining, Chaun, all of these things go into my ability to choose to like her. Because there's moments where, with all due respect, she's wonderful.
I just don't know what he's talking about. I'm delightful.
We're humans, and if you've ever had a romantic relationship, there's moments where you go, I love you. I'm really struggling to like you right now. Or as my wife says, I will cut you. That's not a real threat. It's a joke in our house. But I'm 0 to 100 a lot of times. And so just understanding that, yes, it's an actual choice. And when you figure out that it's not a problem between you two or someone's not broken or X, Y, and Z, that we can choose how we show up and how we respond, then the like portion is really where the satisfaction is, I think. Because I really like her. She's my best friend in the whole world.
I recently heard Esther Perel talk about something along the lines of this. Amazing. She talked about how a lot of people in relationships choose to see the bad things in your partner, and so now of course you're not going to want to be around them or you love on them, but instead of doing that, choosing to see the good in them, choosing to see their qualities, choosing to see what makes them great and who they are and why you chose to be with them in the first place. That's when it brings you together and you're actually able to love like you want to and maintain that. And so I really do believe it's a choice to see those qualities in your partner.
Well, anybody that feels like they've quote unquote fallen out of love has stopped looking at the things in their partner that sparkle, that are exciting, that are fun, that are warm and comfortable to be around. I know y'all heard us say this, but we love Tony Robbins, and he has a quote that says, "Where your focus goes, your energy flows," and it will continue to go that way. And so, if we continue to focus on the negative, that's what we're going to see. I tell people all the time, I love the snot out of Josh, and if I wanted to, I could focus on the things that are negative about him, and by the way, be ready to walk out of the door in 30 days.
Yeah.
If I were to just continue to give that my energy and give that my energy and give that my energy, and then I would, I would be missing out on all of the things that are amazing about him. And that's what happens too when people are in relationship, is they marry someone, and by the way, the person we choose to live our life with is really truly only about 80% of everything that we could ever want.
You were going there.
And then and then we've got that other 20% that might leave just a little bit something to be desired. And we get sort of discontent with the 80 and we go on search for the 20, only to find that that person may have that 20%. But in reality, they might only be 20% of what we would ever want. And so we miss it when we don't choose to love what we loved in the first place, what was actually there and so worth loving.